T-minus 9 minutes. T-minus 8 minutes. T-minus 7 minutes. T-minus 6 minutes. T-minus 5 minutes. minus 3 minutes. Minus 2 minutes. Minus 1 minute. Stand by.
How about that?
Let's get her going. Welcome, everybody. Happy, what day is it? Tuesday, right. We can call this the Independence Day episode if you want. It's episode number 1776 of the RP Show. Coming your way on Game Plus streaming podcast, WQVZ. Coming up later today, the voice of the Edmonton Elks, Morley Scott. 16 seasons, Edmonton Oilers radio color commentator as well. Morley Scott's going to be with us coming up in hour 2 to talk all things sports. My good guy, Scruffy's with me, Mitchell Scruffy Blair, joining us here in hour 1 to tear things down as we get rolling into hour 1. And the quick 6 show topics. For me, Mitch, it's baseball. It's the day of the All-Star game. The Home Run Derby was last night. Please tell me that. Don't start this out as Mr. Poopy Pants and say you didn't watch any of it last night in Philadelphia.
I saw 5 minutes of it, and it was about 4.5 minutes more than I needed to.
I'll take it. At least you saw some of it. I didn't watch it all, but I did enjoy it. Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals won it all. He's the first Cardinal to ever win it. And I have thoughts. We have a very fun poll question, which kind of pertains to this, but what was your takeaways of it last night?
Well, Roddy, it's a home run hitting contest. How much can you sit there and watch a guy hit a ball 425, 450 feet before it gets boring? And that's what it was. Like, there was the ballpark in Philadelphia, there's nothing there to make you want to go, oh, I wonder if they can hit that. Like next year, if there's a baseball season, it'll be played at Wrigley Field. Next year, it'll be like, how many balls can they hit on the rooftops in in left and right field. When it was in Baltimore, how many could you hit off the warehouse? There was no allure to that contest for me whatsoever last night. But that's the way
Well,
All-Star
like you
games
say.
are. I could care less about All-Star games.
Well, here's the point. The beautiful thing about this show is we can talk about a variety of things. And trust me, we're going to. Not the least of which is Week 7 in the Canadian Football League. The Winnipeg Jets have made a signing. ESPN's come out with a poll of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, which this isn't just from three. Oh, you saw it? And it wasn't just from three guys we'd never heard of. It came from executives, coaches, and scouts. So it has a little merit. But let me just back this up for a little bit. I don't know what 5 minutes you watched last night, but I will say this. Now more than ever, the leagues are bringing the entertainment aspect into the games. And so I don't know if you saw Michael Buffer in a little makeshift ring announcing the start of the Home Run Derby. And Will Smith, Will Ferrell, did you see him on the microphone? So
I didn't see it, but I saw the tweets, which were sort of 50-50. By the way, you and I have to have a chat with our good friend Zig Fracassi about Will Ferrell.
He says he's never been funny. Did you see I responded to Zig's tweet
No,
last
so
night? He's
did
like,
I.
What did you say?
I just basically Zig, I have to question our friendship after this.
I said the same thing. I said, we can't be friends, Zig. I mean, to be honest, I believe Will Ferrell isn't as funny as he used to be. But did you see the clip, by the way, of Pat McAfee at the Home Run Derby last night and him running into Will Ferrell? Did you see that clip on McAfee?
Yes, I did. I did see that on his Twitter this morning.
It reminded me of when I met Tom Cochran, not the manager of the Wascana Golf Course in Top Chef. There, another guy named Tom Cochran. The Life is a Highway Tom Cochran. When I met him,
Speaking of which, he's coming to your fine city.
I said, thank you, Tom. And he looked me in the eye and he got it. Like, thank you for the memories. Thanks for being such a huge anthem of my life. Pat McAfee last night grabbed Will Ferrell. They were like on the lip of the infield. And he was like, just thank you, Will. And I got it. But the thing was, Will Ferrell didn't know what to say. He turned around. He was stunned. He was like, I do my best. I'm like, You can't come up with something funnier than that? But come on, Frank the Tank. Don't tell me Will Ferrell's never been funny.
Old School might be one of the best mind killer movies ever.
Oh, my God. Well, I will tell you, I was 30 years old when Old School came out, the movie, and I'll never forget. We watched that movie on the bus with the Pats on a loop. And I remember going to the back of the bus to go to the bathroom, and the movie was on. And there was Miles Stays was one of the players. I don't remember the others. And he goes, which one are you, Roddy? I'm like, what do you mean? Which of the three in this movie, which one are you? I'm all three, largely. Rolled a Frank the Tank, Mitch.
I can't see you
it.
going to a Home Depot on a Saturday afternoon, my friend.
And a Bed Bath & Beyond. Make a day of it. Oh, my God. Anyways, Will, don't tell me, Zig Fracassi, that Will Ferrell's never been funny. He's not as funny as he used to be, but at one time he was very funny. Okay, the poll question today, which is for our friends at Country Thunder, just for fun, and everybody mull this over in the break. What would you like to attend the most of these four? And I'll give it credit to Joe, our business manager, for coming up with it. World Series, Super Bowl, Grey Cup, or Stanley Cup Final? Assuming you hadn't been to any of them, what's the one that you would like to go to the most? Obviously, you didn't see this coming. Do you want some time to think about it?
Well, I've been to a Stanley Cup. I've been to a World Series. And I've been to a Super Bowl. So what was the last one?
Grey Cup, obviously.
Oh, and I've been to a Grey Cup too, so I guess I've been to all of those. So, I'm going to say, Roddy, that probably the Super Bowl, for the reason being that if you went to a World Series game or a Stanley Cup game, and I guess I'll add the Grey Cup into that as well, that it's a one-game winner take all. If it's a game 7,
let's say
Stanley
that. Let's
Cup
say
or
a game
World
7. Let's
Series?
say a game 7. Let's say a game 7. Just say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a good one. I'd probably say, just because of the Canadiana in me, the Stanley Cup.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm like you, and you and I are very lucky. We've had charmed lives working in sports, so I've been to a Grey Cup, a Stanley Cup, and a Super Bowl, but I've not been to a World Series, and for that reason, I voted for the World Series. My God, I would have loved to have been at Game 7 of the World Series last year, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, because even though hockey and football are my top sports, baseball is still very high up there for me, especially as a kid. It was my number 2 sport as a kid behind hockey, which reminds me, do you know Simon Fudge? Remember the name Simon Fudge? Soccer aficionado? You must.
Yeah, that name sounds familiar.
He's out in Vancouver, and he sent me a graphic or a meme today of saying Canada's most popular sports. And it had hockey, baseball, soccer, and then football. I just wrote him back and I said, I disagree. I'll be honest. I don't know that we will ever get to a point in this country that soccer is even in the top 3. Not in yours in my lifetime anyways. So a lot of things to mull over here. A lot of things to mull over. We'll be back. Morley Scott, voice of the Elks, coming up in hour 2. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge, big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and
Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lainey Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly. We built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away. ultimatefanzone.ca or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection, booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
All right, so the text line is open, 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by Western Dodge. Drive with confidence. Shop Western Dodge. Financing, selection, and service you can count on. And when we talk hockey, it's for the Mad Greek Eatery. Are you craving the famous Greek ribs everybody's raving about? Well, you can get yours at the Mad Greek Eatery. Dine in, pick up, or order online, themadgreekeatery.com. Mitch, just some comments from the audience because we're the most interactive show on your screen. Trevor in Miami's watching. He says, soccer is a sport that's at the bottom. I think that's, frankly, in every country on this continent, maybe not Mexico. Utah Darren says soccer at some point will rise to a prominent level. Other sports are getting too pricey for kids to get into. Vancouver Eric says Super Bowl. And if I may, Mitch, Jeff the Stamps fan writes in and says, the poll is an apple to orange comparison. While Super Bowl and Grey Cup are single events, the other two are not. Could we have as many have more qualifications? But why do you got to turn everything into a fight? What would you like to go to? Pick one. I don't know why everything's got to be turned into a fight with these people. Just pick one. So I guess your qualification is Game 7. They're handing out a trophy at any one of these games. It's still the World Series for me. Mitchell? Yeah, top sports in Canada are what? Did you think about that? What did you think about in the break?
Well,
if anything?
I think the top sport in Canada is hockey, obviously.
Yeah.
I would think that football is number 2.
Yep.
And when I say football, I would say American football. Because I'm talking about a whole country here. Roddy, I'm going to be honest with you. With the multiculturalism and the immigration that has happened in this country over the past 15 years, and while we saw a lot of people come from across to watch their countries play at the World Cup, there were a lot of Canadian people that come from a country that went to watch their games. And I don't know if soccer is number 3, but soccer is in the top 5, and it's growing. And this event is going to spark that, not only here but the U.S. I know a lot of people are asking why you would have France and Spain play today, Argentina and England tomorrow, in the middle of the afternoon and not having it in prime time, especially with Fox doing it all in the U.S. Why you wouldn't be having this in prime time to get more eyes on the sport. Now, we've seen a lot of the games, obviously, on TSN and Fox, and the numbers have been outrageous for them. But it's a good question, though, because I'll tell you what, I think if you put the All-Star game up against the France-Spain game tonight, I think that the soccer game would win out as far as eyes on the game.
I think soccer would trounce it for not just for hype. If you're just a borderline fan of either sport, you might be swayed into watching the soccer. But I was thinking about that too this morning, by the way. Funny that you bring that up. Those games are 1 p.m. our time, or that game today, that semifinal is 1 p.m. our time, 3 p.m. Eastern. It's prime time in Europe. Obviously, FIFA's looking at it going, wow, Spain, France, England. Millions upon millions of people. That's why the games are when they are. I mean, we can figure that out, can't we? But I will also just say this and relate it to what we do here. There's a lot of people upset, and I don't like the fact that we're not on Game Plus in the summertime. We've been led to believe that we'll be going back, but we're on there streaming. And that's where it's all going. I don't like it. Why would I like it? It's less people watching the show. We're not on television for now on Game Plus TV. Yet, Mitch, I just met a kid on Saturday who's raving. You might have seen his story. I posted it to mine about meeting me and watching this show. He had no idea that I was the voice of the Rough Riders. No clue. He's like 20.
Really?
He's from Bethune. Well, he's from Bethune.
Whoa, excuse me. Whoa, he's how old?
20. Why does that matter? Did Mitch just freeze?
And he's from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. What a flattering. There we go.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is the young people are watching the streaming. That's what the leagues and networks are thinking. That's what Game Plus is thinking. That's what they told us. Let's all go to streaming these days. Okay. It's your TV channel, so we're on Game Plus every day streaming. But my point is the population's changing. Things are changing. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So eventually soccer might weasel its way into the top 3, maybe 2 in Canada, but it's nowhere near the top 3. Now we have analytics to measure that. It's hockey 1, football 2,
and I don't know about
baseball
you,
3.
but when it comes to, and I don't know what you have for streaming services, and I have a few, but to me, Roddy, as long as I have access communications for my cable subscription, I'm fine because I get it all. So,
as long as I have
services, but
as long as I have forensic files, I'm good. No, I got Netflix,
go.
I got Paramount, but I don't pay for them in both countries, obviously. Okay, back on point, but we are brought to you by Uniglobe Carefree Travel Group, the preferred travel partner of the RP show, and the BC Lions. When it comes to sports trips, group travel, or your next great getaway, trust the pros who handle every detail so you can enjoy the journey. Contact Neil Chark with Uniglobe Carefree Travel. The interesting thing is 40% of our streaming viewership is U.S., and I read comments from a guy watching in Miami, a guy watching in Utah. The sports popularity in the States is not the same as Canada. I think that's why they come here, is because we're different. And speaking of that, point 2, because this is the Canadian Hour. Let's not forget that. That's why Mitch is on right now. Dennis McKnight wasn't planning to be on the CFL sidelines this season. The veteran coach retired last year after overseeing special teams for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in 2024 and 2025 of the CFL. But the BC Lions named him their special teams coordinator on Monday. The Lions fired former special teams coordinator Corey McDermott on June 28th after opening the season 0-3. All of a sudden, boom, BC beats Edmonton in the BC game, or the touchdown Kelowna game, Mitch. I don't think it was Corey McDermott's fault they're 0-3, but somebody has to walk the plank in these situations, is kind of what I'm saying. So Dennis McKnight takes over. I mean, sometimes that's what it takes to shake somebody up. That's the sports world. It's not. It's everybody's world. But what is your take on the CFL West, the way it's shaken down? Because quickly we're almost into the middle third of the season already. It's going fast.
Well, I don't think it's any surprise to see the Saskatchewan Roughriders where they are. I think that we all knew that the Edmonton team was going to be a lot better this year, and they have been. And this just only brings me back to last year going, if Edmonton would have started Cody Fajardo at the start of the year, instead of keeping Trey Ford, which was a disaster, and you can ask Morley about that, I think Edmonton might have made the playoffs last year. BC is a team that's still going to make some noise. Winnipeg is one of those teams. What are you going to get from week to week? And I'm still not big on the Calgary Stampeders. But we'll see what happens. But, as I said, and in the East, Montreal is obviously head and shoulders better above the rest of them. Then there's Toronto. And then you've got Ottawa and Hamilton. And, of course, those two teams have huge problems, especially the Ticats with Bo Levi Mitchell being out.
Stop the presses. The comments coming in are getting from ridiculous to the sublime, as Greg Bonert used to say. Skiddly, wah, wah, wah. Vancouver Eric writes it. He says, I agree. Scruffy is bang on with his take on soccer. Things are changing. Any comments that say Scruffy is bang on will not be allowed moving forward. His head gets too big.
Keep it up, people. Keep it up.
Bill in Brantford, Ontario writes, and he says, Game 7 of the World Series would be my choice. John in Winnipeg says, the only thing that is constant is change, i.e. streaming, right? Vancouver Eric says, I can only speak for Vancouver, but the demographic has changed. Yes. Ken in Mississauga says, okay, that did it. Time for an impression of the original Forensic Files narrator. Oh, Peter Thomas. To solve the crime, they used a new technology called DNA. It's like a genetic blueprint.
I saw one of those the other night, and I laughed.
I said to Joe, I can't tell why I love this show so much. Is it because it's fascinating true crime or because it was filmed 30 years ago and they say DNA technology is new?
Have you seen the one? Have you seen the one that they did with the Kipling doctor? I know I'm frozen again. What a great
you're
look
good.
that is. The forensic files with the Kipling doctor?
I didn't see that one. I thought I'd seen them all. I just keep watching them. I never get tired of it. I remember that guy. What a creep. They tracked the killer with a new technology called GPS, Global Positioning System, or GPS for short. Peter Tom. I love that show. I'm addicted to that show. I'll be honest. I see everybody bitching about the CFL and TSN halftime the other day. I wouldn't know. I flip over to forensics files, whether it's Hockey Night in Canada or because it's always on. It's always on. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. There you go, Ken. There you go, Ken and Mississauga, my Peter Thomas imitation. It's a new technology called DNA. Wayne in Victoria, BC writes, and he says, good morning, Rod and Scruffy. I'm not a soccer fan and never will be. Sorry. I mentioned this yesterday. I didn't get canceled over it. I'm not real interested in getting canceled today either. But the clip of the two guys, the ass grabbing going on in the Norway, was it Belgium game? I'm like, I'm not in it for this. I'm not around for this. This is not what I'm into. Sorry. By the way, while I have you here, picks. I think we got time. Are you prepared to do picks? How did you do last week?
Yes, but again, they are always subject to change prior to Thursday kickoff or Friday kickoff.
But you never changed them. You never changed them, which is fine. It's Friday kickoff this week. I talked to Cam Moon today, the voice of the Edmonton Oilers. I said, big game for your Elkamos. And he said, yeah. I won't get into what all we said. He's a season ticket holder. He loves his Elks. Who's going to win? BC at Edmonton. I'll say right now it's the game of the week. BC at Edmonton Friday night. What do you think?
I think the Lions are going to win a very close one here.
You're going to take the Lions. Okay, I will take the Elkamos because you know what they say, Mitchell? Death, taxes, and Cody Fajardo winning. Montreal at Calgary. Rematch of last week. Who do you like?
Montreal.
I'll take Calgary. This is spicy. And let me tell you, by the way, our picks are brought to you by Pump Jacks. Next time you and I get together, Mitch, we'll go to Pump Jacks, okay? You can try some of my coconut shrimp because it's to die for. When we do picks, it's for Pump Jacks. Come early, stay late at the place where friends meet, like me and Scruffy. Pump Jacks Cathedral, Pump Jacks Weyburn. Toronto at Hamilton, the Battle of the QEW. Who do you like?
I got to take the Argos here just because I'm just not sold on Hamilton at quarterback.
Me as well.
Even though I think that Jake Dolegala got a bad rap for his effort on Sunday, and we talked about that yesterday. But I'd rather have Jake Dolegala than Trey Ford.
And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at Ottawa.
Right now, Roddy, I would take maybe you, me, Joe, and a bunch of other people over Ottawa because they're that bad. You think Ryan Dinwiddie is going, what did I do? Why did I do this?
You know what? No, he's not. For reasons that I'm not interested in getting into here, but a lot of people in football are asking that exact question. Not only him, but they're like, do you think Dinwiddie's regretting this? Or Reinbold? And I don't think that they are. But you're not the only guy asking that question. Actually, I'll address that on the other side of the break. Monty in Saskatoon's got BC, Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. Vancouver, Eric says, death, taxes, and Cody getting beat by the Lions again. You are straight out of hell, Vancouver, Eric. Ken from Mississauga says, thanks. That's really good and funny. Peter Thomas, the narrator of Forensic Files. Oh, my God. It's my new thing. I kind of
Are they still doing
moved
that
on
show,
from Dateline.
or is it just still repeats from years ago?
There's no new ones. But that's okay because we're repeats. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
Ultimate Fan Zone, taking our show on the road coast to coast. Shop online, ultimatefanzone.ca. Slick, user-friendly, we built this site for the die-hard sports fans. Jerseys, hats, team apparel, offering officially licensed fan gear from the best lines in sports. Nike, New Era, Adidas, Fanatics. Game day ready to your door. Now, just a click away, ultimatefanzone.ca, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram. UFZ Downtown Moose Jaw, home of everything authentic.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lady Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Dean, Brody, and the Recklaws teaming up for the Hometown Heroes Tour.
If there's work, you know I'm gonna work.
Live at Temple Garden Center, November 9th.
Can't blame nobody else. I can't help myself.
Two of Canada's biggest country acts. One stage, one unforgettable night on the Hometown Heroes Tour. Tickets on sale now at the Temple Garden Center box office or online at saskpix.ca.
Across America, Country Thunder Music Festivals bring you the biggest superstars. See unforgettable performances by Zach Top, Lady Wilson, Brooks and Dunn, Keith Urban, Riley Green, the Red Clay Strays, Kane Brown, Gavin Adcock, and so many more. Join the party under the desert sky in Arizona, on the sandy shores of the Gulf in Florida, or in gorgeous Wisconsin Lake Country. It's the music you love, live and loud. Tickets, hotel, and camping info available at countrythunder.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Our Hour 2 guest will be Morley Scott, the voice of the Edmonton Elks. Looking forward to that. It's brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Would you like to build some hockey lanes? They do that. Prairie Panels provides high-quality insulated wall and roof panels designed for durability and energy efficiency. Visit prairiepanels.ca or call 306-985-0050. From the text line for Western Dodge, David, number 2, writes in, Mitch, he says, Rod, the sports I have played competitively are hockey, volleyball, and soccer. The one that got my juices flowing the most was soccer because of the endurance and strategy needed. And he said, if I had to choose an event to go to, it would be a Super Bowl if the 49ers are one of the teams. This is what I was saying yesterday after you adjourned. What I hate about this time of year is NFL's not playing, NHL's not playing, so everybody's attention sports-wise is scattered in other areas. Everybody's into something different. Some are into the soccer, some aren't. Some are into the MLB All-Star Game. I am, a lot aren't. But NFL is right around the corner now, 58 days from the start of Week 1, Mitch, and that's why I bring this up in what is point 4 of the Quick Six show topics, and that is ESPN's top NFL quarterbacks in a poll of league executives, coaches, and scouts. I shouldn't be surprised that Mitch was aware of this when I brought it up off the top of the show. Did you see who they just spoiler alert, who's number 1? Did you see who the number 1 quarterback is in the NFL?
Yep.
Josh Allen of the Bills.
Yep.
Right. Let me count them down from the other way.
Okay.
Number 10, Caleb Williams. Number 10, Caleb Williams. Number 9, Jared Goff. Number 8, Drake May. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Dak Prescott. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Matthew Stafford. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. And number 1, Josh Allen. I did not go in and read any comments on this at all because I just didn't have the time, frankly, nor the interest. But there's got to be a debate raging over there. You don't even have Jalen Hurts in your top 10, a guy who's been to the Super Bowl twice and won once.
Every list, as we know, is subject to criticism, and this one's no different. When I looked at the list, I went Jared Goff. Okay. Matthew Stafford at 3. Okay. I don't know if Jared Goff would have made my top 10. I don't know if Matthew Stafford would have been number 3. Had I known you were going to do this today, and I should have known that you were going to do it, I probably could have given you my list of the top 10 quarterbacks. I think Caleb
Put it
Williams,
in your column. Put it in your column.
You know what? I might just do that this week. I would think that Caleb Williams would be a little bit higher. I think you've got to have Jordan Love on that list. Jalen Hurts is on the way down, and I think Jalen Hurts might have been 11. But here's my only problem with Josh Allen. Roddy, we know that Josh Allen can do it all. With his arm, with his legs. But Josh Allen is the Connor McDavid of the NFL.
Yes.
And maybe you can't say that because at least Connor McDavid has been to a Stanley Cup. Josh Allen hasn't been to a Super Bowl. Now, that's not Josh Allen's fault. That final 14 seconds in Kansas City may haunt him for the rest of his life when it looked like they were going to beat Kansas City. And then, inexplicably, Kansas City moved the ball into field goal range in the 12 seconds. That never happens in the NFL, though, right? CFL fans? But, yeah, I just, Josh Allen is number 1, but those that are critical of that because he hasn't won, that's a valid complaint. Would I put Patrick Mahomes there? No, because I think Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to slide. But, And Joe Burrow never stays healthy. And trust me, I've had Joe Burrow as my fantasy quarterback for the last umpteen years, and the guy can't stay healthy.
Well, what's funny about this, number 1, Vancouver Eric writes in and he says, again, Scruffy on point. I say, again, stop it. Scott in Vancouver says, McDavid, 2 cup finals. See, here's the thing. We all watch all the games. I watch as much NFL as I do NHL, and I think you're the same. Maybe we watch more NHL, but there's less games. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of when the Oilers were playing the Panthers 3 seasons ago in the Stanley Cup Final. Remember Greg Cote, the Miami Herald, coming out and saying McDavid was overrated? Remember that?
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, if we can slam dunk say Connor McDavid's the best player in the NHL, which he is, and he's never won, then how could we reasonably say Josh Allen's not the best quarterback just because he hasn't won? It's the same. It's the same debate, you know. But I don't.
But there are people out there, Roddy, and we all know this. And I don't necessarily disagree because I think he's the number 2 player in the NHL. But some will say that Nathan McKinnon is better than Connor McDavid, and Nathan McKinnon has a Stanley Cup on his resume. You can't argue that. I think that McDavid is better than McKinnon, but I'm certainly going to listen to the argument. And when Nathan has won and Connor hasn't, that's a legitimate
You know what?
part of
I'll
the
tell you what,
debate.
though. Just for fun, Nathan McKinnon missing the wide open net in the gold medal game of the Olympics. I just saw it come up the other day. So, he's going to wear that forever.
Yep.
And you talk about the pressure in sports.
Yep. And again, who was on the ice when Jack Hughes scored? Nathan McKinnon. Connor McDavid, Cale Makar. Who are the top 3 North American players in the NHL right now?
You just named them.
McKinnon, Connor McDavid, and Cale Makar.
Well, do you think it's because he plays for Colorado that people are up his ass about that? But, like, I don't remember McDavid with an empty net not bearing. I think we all feel like he is the guy on a team that can't get
Not from that spot.
Yeah.
I've seen Connor McDavid hit the goalpost from the blue line with an empty net, but I've never seen him miss from point-blank range the way McKinnon did.
From 4 feet away?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think we kind of get caught up in the American media versus the Canadian media, and why is McKinnon not as much of a darling as McDavid? Because they're basically the same age. They've played in all the same tournaments together, and yet McDavid's the hero and McKinnon really isn't, and I wonder why that is.
Well, I think maybe where Mr. McDavid plays has a big part to play with that. And I'm not just saying Edmonton, because he could be in Vancouver, Calgary, Ottawa, Toronto, or Montreal, and we'd say the same thing.
Oh, I know. It's exceptionally hard for Canadians to believe. It was very hard for me to realize that the Avalanche are not only 4th in the market in Denver for popularity, they are a distant 4th. Just like the Blackhawks
and doesn't that
Chicago.
Surprise you, considering how bad the Colorado Rockies have been for the past couple of years? I could understand the Nuggets because they've won recently, and they've got Jokic and Murray, who are 2 of the top 15 players in the NBA. The Broncos weren't very good until a couple of years ago, and you've got the Avalanche that have been right at the top or right near the top for the last 7-8 years. Like,
or
I
even
would think,
longer, yeah. It's stunning to me.
right, like I would think that probably the Nuggets, if somebody asked me, I would probably go Nuggets, Avalanche, Broncos, Rockies. But no, that's not the case.
And most American markets are that way. Oddly enough, Tampa Bay is not. The Lightning are the number 1 team in Tampa Bay. That might
But what
shock
else
a lot
is there
of people.
besides the ball team?
The Buccaneers.
Like, the Buccaneers are there, but it's obviously, that's a seasonal thing, right?
Right, but they say until Brady showed up, the Lightning owned that town for 20 years. Brady shows up, wins the Super Bowl, toodaloo, and the Bucs went right up top for a while. Yeah, and now the Lightning are back on top because they're always good. Anyways, we have a minute, Mitch. We got your picks. Last word. You got the last word, Color. What's from Carlos and Buds?
You know what? I know you brought it up a couple of times in your columns and that, but for those that are watching in Saskatchewan and Alberta, the Western Canadian Baseball League is getting into the second half of the season, and games are starting to get real important now. I know your Moose Jaw Miller Express are on top of the East. The Regina Red Sox are battling right now. They've got a couple of games against Brooks. I don't know who Moose Jaw plays again. But this is the time of year when fans are starting to head out to the ballpark. And like we talked about yesterday, you saw a guy like Carter Beck and where he ended up. Get out and watch some ball.
We got a 4-game homestand starting tonight. Can't wait. Fort McMurray in town. See you, Scruffy. RP Show continues right after this.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody. The RP Show continues. Scruffy's gone, so I can get to more of your comments. So there have been great ones from everybody today. 902-518-3033 is the Western Dodge text line. By the way, rep the show you love. Shop the Rod Pedersen Show store today at rodpedersen.com. Just click on RP Store and tell everybody how much you love your favorite daytime sports talk show. Hour one is brought to you in part by Suds. Here's one for you. My good guy Kirby, who owns and runs Suds Car Wash, he is the father-in-law of Calgary Stampeders linebacker Derek Moncrief. If you needed any other reason to go, if you're stuck for gift ideas, Suds gift cards. Available online at our location or at Costco. They're the ultimate for anyone who loves a clean ride. Visit sudsregina.com. Okay, I'm going to go right back to the top of the Quick Six for all the people that showed up late. And the Quick Six show topics are brought to you by our friends at Uniglobe Carefree Travel out of Vancouver. Score a touchdown in the Caribbean with CFL legends Adam Bighill, Jameer Thurman, Willie Jefferson, Jake Ceresna, and apparently they're adding a Rough Riders current player from the Players Association to this 7-day cruise departing out of Fort Lauderdale February 20th. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for CFL fans. Prices from $18.99 cruise only. Contact Neil Chark at Uniglobe Carefree Travel. His contact info is on the screen. Let's sell this sucker out. You know, on the coldest day of the year, you're going to be wishing that you paid now and took advantage of the early bird, okay? Neil at uniglobecarefree.ca. Let's go all the way back to the top. I didn't get into this too far because I knew Scruffy would poo-poo it. St. Louis Cardinals slugger Jordan Walker won the 2026 MLB Home Run Derby. He defeated hometown favorite Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies in the final round with a score of 12-11, completing an epic comeback to become the first St. Louis Cardinals player ever to win the HR Derby. Listen, if you're not into it, you're never going to be into it. It doesn't matter what they do. But can I just tell you what I enjoyed about it? Number one, I'm sure John from Edmonton is watching. I don't know where he is today, but all day long yesterday, he was riddled with anxiety that he wasn't going to be able to get it because it was only on Netflix and only in America and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, boom, it's right there on Sportsnet. Look at all the energy you expended needlessly worrying about whether it was on or not, number one. Number two, I do enjoy the celebrity component of what these leagues are doing now. It's not just about the game anymore. Do we understand that? It's not just about him hitting home runs out of the park. Michael Buffer was there. Will Ferrell was there. Pat McAfee was there. That stuff is all cool. But I will say this. There's fun stuff going on. Like Wilson Contreras plays for the Phillies, and he was being booed at the plate because he was taking pitches. And he's their guy. And I'm sitting there going, okay, now I remember why they brought the clock in. Because as I told you yesterday, I've been watching this every year, ever since they brought it in, the Home Run Derby. And they brought in a clock because of what happened last night. The at-bats took way too long because guys didn't like the pitches, so they're letting them go by. The crowd's booing. Be that as it may, it ended up being a very thrilling finale and all the rest. So it's not just about them knocking dingers out of the park. But if that's what you want to sit and bitch about and say you're not entertained, then that's you. Go watch Forensic Files. That's number one. And the MLB All-Star Games tonight. We'll be talking more about that too next hour. Point two was CFL, which we covered a lot of. Dennis McKnight being hired in BC as the special teams coordinator of the Lions. Scruffy and I made our picks for Pump Jacks. I love that place. It's our sports watching headquarters. I've got Edmonton to beat BC. Mitch has got BC to win. I got Calgary to beat Montreal. Mitch has Montreal to win. And we both agree Toronto will beat Hamilton and Winnipeg will beat Ottawa. But to be honest, we've seen Jekyll and Hyde out of all the teams, which you usually do over the course of a football season. And some of these games have been unpredictable. Like, I don't think we saw Winnipeg with a backup quarterback beating Toronto the other night, but that's what happened, and that's what makes the league fun, and that's been a fun season so far in the CFL. They've started earlier than ever, and I haven't seen any ratings. Have you? Like, I don't know if people are watching CFL games or not. What I know is I do everything I can to watch every game because I love it. And an interesting topic is the soccer thing. I mean, we've got viewers all across the country and all around the continent. What I've realized, and I enjoy putting this out to you, the viewers, is some are into it, some are not. So we talk about everything, and it makes everybody happy. It actually kind of works well that way. Will we ever become a soccer country? Will soccer ever become more popular than baseball? I doubt it, but who knows? Let's remember, some of us with a little age on us do remember when MLB was the number one sport in America. It was for a long time. The NFL caught it, surpassed it, left it in the dust. Hockey is way more popular than it's ever been in the States, and it's largely because kids are playing it. And NBA has dropped severely. I don't know why that is. So things do change, but they'd better stay on top of it. Vancouver Eric writes, then he says, great poll question for the future. I can't remember what he was saying. What was the poll question? I know it was about Josh Allen and Connor McDavid. Are you saying who's the best quarterback in the NFL? I mean, that, by the way, is the bunk. For those, this is what's different now. When these leagues have made a concerted effort to be a year-round league, there's nothing going on in the NFL. So let's do a poll on the best quarterbacks, and it's got everybody talking. Right? You guys are talking about it way more than I thought that we would. Like, where is it? David, number 2 from Winnipeg, writes, and he says, sorry, Rob, but how does Dak make the top 10? You don't got to apologize to me. I don't think he should be in the top 10. I don't really think he should be in the top 20, even though he's paid that way, and I'm not a Dak hater. Do you guys have this, by the way, in your own fan bases? This is why I will probably never give up my Dallas Cowboys fandom. I mean, or Regina Pats fandom, but there's like 2 guys in this entire city next door that even want to talk about the Pats. That's just a fact. Jared Dumba and Jason Baker. Bakes doesn't even live there anymore. Well, Jared and Al Dumba too, but they count as the same as one. So for the Cowboys, I can't even wade into a Facebook group or make a Twitter comment without it being a war. They all love Dak. And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are seeing. You're all brainwashed. And they all love Jerry. I can at least see it from the outside and go, we're not winning anything with that guy as the quarterback and probably that guy as the owner. And don't get me going on about 92, 93, and 95. It's a different world that we as in the Cowboys, have yet to be able to figure out. And the other thing, by the way, at least I gave this list a little credence because that was executives, GMs, and coaches and scouts that made up this list. But I'll be perfectly honest with you. If you're not asking Mark Trestman, just pick up the phone and call Mark. He's sitting there in Naples. We're the quarterback whisperer. He has said for years that Justin Herbert of the Chargers is the best quarterback in the NFL. So it's like, why are we talking to anybody else? And he's number 7 on the list. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, Rod, do you think more sports radio stations across Canada are going to get shut down? Well, number 1, I don't spend any time thinking about it, John. And number 2, there are only 3 left, aren't there? So 4. So no, they probably will. But I don't think about that. Oh, thank you, Vancouver Eric. Still hanging in there. He says McDavid or McKinnon. Who's better? Bro. Well, I can tell you what the answer is going to be right now. The vote will be, maybe we won't do it tomorrow because tomorrow's Canada's Game of the Week poll. We could do it on Thursday, but they're all going to vote for McDavid for the reasons that Scruffy and I came up with. I'm not saying we're right, but I think it's the fact that Connor McDavid plays for a Canadian team. Everybody loves him. They just don't see Nathan McKinnon as much. It's not as much that they don't like McKinnon in Canada. We love him. But the only time we see him is Tim Hortons commercials and whatever else he's endorsing. We don't really see the games a whole lot. We see Connor McDavid every day in the games and the commercials, and he's a likable guy. So too is Nathan McKinnon. But we will do the poll. That's a really good point. But McDavid will win. 902-518-3033. Vancouver Eric says Trey Ford needs a Mark Trestman. You know, it's interesting you say that. I mean, nobody in Edmonton is saying, oh, right, we were wrong. Do you know nobody ever says that? It's very, very rare that anybody, and I'm not going to name names of my very dear friends in the Edmonton media because just so you know, they are my great friends. But they were all up Chris Jones's ass about why aren't you playing Trey Ford? Why aren't you playing Trey Ford? And then the guy can't play, and nobody's saying, oh, right, Chris Jones was right. Oop. No. I learned that, by the way, from Ken Austin. That's why I don't mind saying that I was wrong. I say it all the time. Kent was the guy that said, do not be afraid to admit that you're wrong or that you made a mistake. I don't know why people won't do that. And Ken says, work every day to not repeat those mistakes. That's what makes a champion. Kent's like, I locked the keys in my car twice today. Ta-da! I'm no genius. It's just, maybe that's why you guys are all here. It's, I don't mind saying that I made a mistake, and I try not to make the same one twice. Kirk in Toronto writes in, 902-518-3033, says, hey, Rod, soccer has always been huge, just not in North America until now, partly because we hosted the games. I'm aware of the popularity of soccer in the world. I'm also aware of its place in Canada, and I'm also aware of changing demographics. I know all of this. I'm just saying, at what point does soccer become a event that we are stopping everything to watch the games? And Kirk, you're sitting there in Toronto where I think it is really, really high. But as I'm on the list, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. We're a Western Canadian show. It's just not that big out here. And specifically where I'm at, I can tell you that it will never be big. But we're just not broadcasting to this specific audience. We're going around the whole continent. Kirk also says the Argos hardly ever win in Hamilton, and their defense stinks. Does that mean that you're taking the Argos to lose? I don't think that it is, but I get what you're saying. Morley Scott joins us next hour. Stick around here on the RP Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
You have a vision, a big idea. But how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with the Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
How about that?
Welcome to the RP Show, everybody. It's a special episode. I'll tell you why in a second. It's going to be fun. It always is, but more fun because I'm moving some topics around here for the benefit of those that have been watching for an hour on Game Plus, streaming across Canada, WQVZ radio in the U.S. South. We welcome our viewers across Nevada on Silver State Sports. I think we have a very timely guest coming up on the program today, my long friend, Morley Scott. He is the voice of the Canadian Football League's Edmonton Elks, but also 16 years as the color commentator of the Edmonton Oilers on 630 CHED Edmonton. And the reason I say that's timely is, you know, a lot of our viewers are Canadian, and we got into this because people, for whatever reason, aren't into MLB. They're not into soccer. All they care about, because they're Canadians, all they care about is hockey. And there was a debate of who's the better NHLer right now, Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers or Nathan McKinnon of the Colorado Avalanche. That's what we do in the middle of summer in Canada. So it's important because it's episode number 1776. Ta-da! We can call it the Independence Day episode, 1776. And as I've been saying all week, everybody's attention is scattered in a bunch of different places. But the beautiful thing about this show is if you don't like what we're talking about, wait 2 minutes, we'll be talking about something else. So I haven't even talked about in depth today World Cup yet. So that will be the number one point right here, despite a beautifully unpredictable group stage. and a consistently dramatic set of 3 knockout rounds, we've somehow managed to land exactly where everyone thought we would at the start of the 2026 World Cup. The 4 favorites from each quadrant of the bracket, France, Spain, England, and Argentina, have crafted a star-studded set of semifinals. France meeting Spain today in Dallas, England and Argentina facing off on Wednesday in Atlanta. That is the most that I've spoken about the World Cup today, and that is also a very interesting topic. We have a lot of viewers in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I just saw today that the Northern Women's Super League, Professional Women's Soccer League, is putting an expansion team in Winnipeg. There's expansion teams going out everywhere, and something just triggered in my mind that you can have too much of a good thing. They're still talking about those all-Canadian sports stations going off the air across Canada because the suits ruined it. Eventually the suits always ruin it. But for now, let's just enjoy. You get a team, you get a team, you get a team, because for now, women's sports is hot. I get that. But at the very moment, soccer is hot, and I'm sitting here thinking, where is it? I had a friend, Simon Fudge. He is a soccer guy. That's right. His name is Fudge. That's his last name. Do you know anybody else in the world whose last name is Fudge? Do you, producer Corey? I do not. Anyway, Simon Fudge is a longtime friend of mine, and he sent me a graphic that said, here are the most popular sports in Canada: hockey, baseball, soccer, football, and then a list behind that. I'm like, number one, I automatically don't agree. But if you're sitting in Toronto, Vancouver, they've been hosting World Cup games. I could see why right now you'd be getting washed up in the popularity of it, but historically, those sports are not. We're airing in Vegas. There was talk of an MLS team going in there, as if they need another pro sports team in Las Vegas. But for now, can we just sit back and enjoy the World Cup? It's going to be over soon. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Point 2 is MLB. St. Louis Cardinals slugger Jordan Walker won the 2026 MLB Home Run Derby Monday night. He defeated hometown favorite Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies in the final round with a score of 12-11, completing an epic comeback by hitting a home run on his final 6 swings. With the victory, Walker became the first player in St. Louis Cardinals franchise history to win the event. And then the MLB All-Star Game goes Tuesday night, which is exciting. I mean, I just say, we're all into something different. We generally are. I mean, this audience is historically hockey and football, but it's not like we don't like baseball. I'll be calling baseball tonight. I probably won't be able to watch any of the All-Star Game, which sucks, but I watched a lot of the Home Run Derby last night, and as I'm sitting there, for whatever reason, Rob Manfred never called me to get my thoughts on them switching from the clock-based competition, which has been in since 2014, to the swing-based competition, which we saw last night, and I'm sitting there going, now I know why they went away from this, because guys were just laying off way too many pitches. The crowd was getting antsy. The at-bats were extended and long. If you can get past that, it was still a wonderful night. Jordan Walker, the first ever Cardinal to win it. But to give you, did you watch it? Because Wilson Contreras of the Philadelphia Phillies, it was in his ballpark, and he was getting booed for laying off too many pitches from, let's be honest, the pitching coach. These weren't curveballs, fastballs, sliders, two-seam fastballs. He knew what was coming, and he was laying off them, and the crowd was hot. It's hot. Swing the bat. It's taking too long, and that's why they went to the clock-based formats for the last 12 years. So I'll be interested to see what format they come back with next year. But I will also say this. MLB did a really cool thing, and you see that all the leagues are doing this. The NFL did it first because they're always the ones to do it first, and that's bringing the entertainment world. And they had Michael Buffer in a mini little ring that they made, looked like a midget wrestling ring, announcing. And they're like, Philadelphia's own Michael Buffer. And I'm like, that dude is an inspiration to me and has been for a very long time. My God. He's had white hair for 30 years. I'm sitting there going, how old is this guy? Michael Buffer in the 90s was getting $50,000 to come in to announce your boxing event and say, and the way he rolls the R's, Wilson Contreras. Oh, my God. Come on. They don't make announcers like that anymore. And then Will Ferrell's there. Pat McAfee's there. They're making it an event, and our Hour 1 co-host, Scruffy, as usual, crapped all over it, saying, how many times can you watch home runs going into the bleachers? It's not about that. But if that's the way you want to look at it, I can't stop you. Go watch something else. Or go watch Forensic Files, which is what I do every intermission and halftime. I saw the people complaining again about the halftime of the CFL broadcast on the weekend. I'm like, I know those people. I like them, but I switch over to Forensic Files. I love it. I'm never disappointed. By the way, is viewer C Lightning around? I know there was an incident last week. I hope he comes back. 902-518-3033. C Lightning. He was always encouraging people to like and share our show. C Lightning. I hope that he comes back. 902-518-3033 is the text line, brought to you by our friends at Western Dodge. David number 1 checks in and says, I grew up with a fudge. Not going to lie, for those that just joined us, I was talking about my good friend Simon Fudge earlier. He's a huge soccer guy. He's just always been trying to get me into soccer. It's not going to happen. I admire you guys and gals trying to get me into golf, trying to get me into Moose was trying to get me into tennis forever. Eventually, I hope you quit because I like what I like. But anyways, his name's Simon Fudge, and I've never heard of anybody else named Fudge before, and frankly, I'm a little jealous. Stacy is watching at Access World headquarters and says, I like Forensic Files too. Last summer, I was sitting in the living room of my good friend Corey. He's the athletic therapist for the NHL's Calgary Flames. And we got talking about our favorite shows, and we both agreed on Forensic Files for a variety of reasons. Largely, it's 30-minute snack-sized true crime drama. I mean, I love me a 2-hour Dateline. Don't get me wrong. But when you're on the go in a rush, Forensic Files, it hits. It smacks. Peter Thomas. John in Edmonton. I just love this. I love the sparring that we have. John in Edmonton says, Rod, people are not happy with halftime on Sunday at FIFA. Madonna, Shakira, Korean boy band BTS, Justin Bieber, and Coldplay will all perform. Hey, John, newsflash, what are people actually happy about? Can you go dig up the stories on what people are happy about? I'd love to hear those stories. I didn't like the fact that Justin Bieber announced the first pick for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL draft. Guess what? I didn't lose a millisecond sleep over it. It's not that big a deal to me. And just so you have an idea, John, consider yourself lucky that these things bother you so much. That the All-Star Game's on Netflix and maybe you can't get it. Or Madonna's playing the halftime of FIFA. Be glad that those are your biggest problems. I'll just say this. I just say it because it popped into my head. Friday night at Country Thunder at the Riley Wilson concert, a guy by the name of Daryl Michael, a longtime friend of mine. I said, how's your grandkids, Daryl? He goes, well, my 3-year-old's recovering from cancer. The chemotherapy on him and the radiation's so rough that they can't even drop water on his little skin at 3 years of age. How you feel about Madonna now, John, in Edmonton? Or the fact that the Home Run Derby is on Netflix? Let's try to have a little perspective here about people not being happy about shit that I don't care about. Point 3. The Winnipeg Jets have signed first-round pick Viggo Bjork to a 3-year entry-level contract, the NHL team announced. The contract has an average annual value of $1.075 million. Bjork was the 8th overall pick in June's draft. He also helped lead Sweden to World Championship gold. But nobody cares about that. The question is, where's Connor Hellebuck going? And unfortunately, so many people are ruining social media. And I won't speak for everybody else, but I'll speak for me. Perfect example. My very good friend Jeff, hotelier to the stars. He owns like 3 hotels. He wrote me like a month ago, and he was like, who's going to be the Florida Panthers goalie this year? I'm not following it. I said, well, they're saying Jordan Binnington. As yet, Jordan Binnington's still sitting there as a free agent, is he not? Won a Stanley Cup with the St. Louis Blues. Oh, the day before free agency, the Florida Panthers went out and acquired Jacob Markstrom from New Jersey. Who saw that coming? So all that, and my point is, I see last night Connor Hellebuck wants to go to the Buffalo Sabres. I don't know whether to believe it or not. But that's what a lot of people like to sit and talk about. By the way, the daily poll is for Country Thunder. It always is. The next one coming up is in Wisconsin. Check out the lineup and get your tickets at countrythunder.com. The poll question today is, what would you like to go? Is Jason and Red Deer watching? Can you update me on the latest poll results? Because I don't have the means. And I see that it is 1:11 Eastern. Thank you guys for observing. 11:11 Mountain. What would you prefer to go to the most? A Stanley Cup final game, a World Series game, the Super Bowl, or the Grey Cup, which is the Canadian Football League Championship. And just for relativity purposes, every single NFL game is a Grey Cup. I noticed that a long time ago when I first started going, but it's still a really big deal. Right? The sold-out stadiums, the flyovers, the marching bands, a week-long party. That's pretty much every NFL game. But we did have to narrow it down, and I'll give some of the viewers some credence for that, some credit. It's a Game 7. You know they're going to hand out the Stanley Cup. You know they're going to hand out the World Series, just like you know they're going to hand out the Super Bowl. What is it? For me, it is the World Series, largely because I've been to the other three. Not my fault. That's how I voted. I would like to go to the World Series the most. Carlos in Indiana said, does it matter if your team's in it or not? Can we just answer the question? What would you like to go to the most? I think it still would always be a World Series for me. But yes, Carlos, you're right. It would very much help if my favorite team, the Toronto Blue Jays, were in it, or my favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, were in it. But it's still baseball for me. Where's Hellebuck going? Is the point how I started all that? We still don't know, and that's all they're talking about in Winnipeg. Point 4, interesting poll from ESPN. And unlike the last poll they did of the best defensive ends or D tackles in the NFL, they actually polled guys whose opinions I care about. The last poll with the D tackles, I didn't even know who the 3 people were that came up with this. Well, why am I listening to these guys? But this poll was of NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. Top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. And it's just giving people something to talk about that don't want to watch baseball right now. Let's just be honest about it. Number 10, Caleb Williams. Number 9, Jared Goff. Number 8, Drake May. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Dakota Prescott. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Matthew Stafford. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. And number 1, Josh Allen. And I love how we're landing the plane on this in that. Why were we talking about who's the best player in the NHL, McDavid or McKinnon? Because of this. Josh Allen's never won a Super Bowl, so many people are saying, how can you say he's the best? He's never won. If we can all agree that it's not Connor McDavid's fault, the Oilers haven't won a Stanley Cup, and we all know that he's the best player in the NHL, how could we possibly say that Josh Allen isn't the best quarterback in the NFL, even though he hasn't won a Super Bowl? It's a fascinating discussion. Like Greg Cote of the Miami Herald 3 years ago saying that Connor McDavid was overrated, and we all scoffed. We're like, Greg, number 1, you don't even go to the games. Trust me, I'm at every Panthers game. I've seen you once in now 6 years. And number 2, we all know McDavid's the best. He's not overrated. But my God, we still remember it, so maybe we're the fools. I don't know. But Morley Scott will join us next. We'll talk about this and all kinds of other things with Morley. He's such a great guy. It's brought to you by Prairie Panels. Are you building a shop, barn, rink, or commercial space? Give him a call, prairiepanels.ca, or call him 306-985-0050. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports, Game Plus streaming, podcast, and WQVZ.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more. There's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs guy through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live. Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
Welcome back, everybody. We're brought to you in part by EMJ Marketing. Transform your business with EMJ Marketing's all-in-one marketing and speaker services. Find out more at emjmarketing.com. All right, Morley Scott joins us from Edmonton. Morley, you're stepping into the middle of a holy war here. They're saying who's the best NFL quarterback, the best CFL quarterback, the best NHL player, the greatest CFL receiver of all time. Can I ask you, who's the best player in the NHL right now, Morley?
Connor McDavid. Why would there be any other answer? I mean, if you've seen him play, if you've seen him play, you know he's the best player in the NHL. What he can do with a puck at that speed is no one else can do it. So, you can't say he hasn't won because that's not his fault. He's done everything he can possibly do to drag his team as far as they've been in, 2 Stanley Cup Finals, Game 7 one year, Game 6 the other year. Last year, obviously, we know what happened in the first round. But, I mean, he's the best, most skilled player in the National Hockey League. There's no doubt about it.
I agree totally with you. But you see him every game. Is there any room in the argument for Nathan MacKinnon? For instance, we are just saying if we put this to a poll, McDavid would win, but is that because he's in a Canadian market and we see him every day in the TV commercials and the games versus MacKinnon sitting down there in Colorado or any other player?
Hey, McKinnon's in the commercials too. He's helping that guy do his laundry, right? While he's got a cold. So, McKinnon's a great player. I mean, you're talking, either one of those guys is a great pick and a great player. If you have to say who's better, it's McDavid. Their games are a little different too. Size-wise, McKinnon's a little bit more physical. He plays that style a little bit more. McDavid not as physical, but they're both great players. But if you got to pick one over the other, it's got to be McDavid.
And again, I agree. But while I have you, and trust me, CFL fans, down boys, we'll get to the Elks question. They're fired up to hear from you, Morley. But was it 16 or 18 years you were broadcasting Oilers games?
16 years.
So yeah. I know you're very in tune to the scene. You're Oilers guy. Do you see this team winning a Stanley Cup with Mike Babcock?
I think the upside is tremendous. This move is a high risk and a high reward move by the Oilers. The reward could be a Stanley Cup. The risk could be the total absolute rebuild and everything. But everyone seems to think he's changed, and everyone seems to think that he's the right fit. The players seem to want him. The players who have been quoted so far, and we had Max Jones on our radio station here in Edmonton yesterday, and he's the latest to say he's got no problems with it. And he said Babcock's already reached out to him and talked to him and kind of found out a little bit more about him. I think there's a chance that he could be the answer to what they need, but there's a chance it could go south too. I mean, like I said, high risk, high reward, but that's pro sports.
You are describing, I think, if you looked up the definition of a gamble, that's what you would see in the dictionary. If there's still a dictionary around, I haven't seen one for a very long time, but
there's an app.
Yeah. Or those of us been around, we know. But I would say that they thought he'd changed going into Columbus and proved that he hadn't. And I'm a friend of Babs. If you think he's changed, Morley, I think they're going to be dearly disappointed. But that doesn't mean that they can't win.
He did. I will say this. He surprised me at the press conference, the way he talked about things. But we'll see. I mean, you can't really find out until they actually, until he's in town, until he's working with the players, until he gets to talk every day in the media and get, find out what he's at and where he's going. I would think if he hasn't changed, he's not a very smart guy. And from what I understand, he's a pretty smart guy. He's a great tactician. He knows the game. He's got a lot of wins. He's coached some great teams. He's coached some bad teams. He's been to the Stanley Cup final. He's won the gold medals. He's got the resume. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's just a wait and see thing. You just got to see if I believe he's got to be smart enough to know he's got to be a little different with the athletes that he coaches now.
I'm a little surprised I just want to clarify, when you say you're surprised by his news conference, that he didn't walk back or apologize for anything in his past.
Yeah, he didn't show a lot of contrition, and he kind of just said his wife told him to quit, right? That was kind of the end of it. So we'll see. I mean, this is it's something that's going to play out and probably play out early. I think within the first month or two of the season, we're going to know if this is going to work or have a chance to work, or it's not going to work. And I'm leaning towards the fact that I think he'll be a changed person, a changed coach, and be just be better at what he does and how he communicates with his players.
Well, I'll say this again. He's been on the show.
I may be totally wrong,
times.
though, right?
Yeah. No, you're hoping. And if we don't have hope, we don't have much. So I'm just saying I don't think he's changed. I would call him a friend. I've known him since 1991, and I still think they could win. But don't expect him to be a warm, fuzzy guy, because that ain't what he is. And
you can still be a tough coach and not be a jerk, though, right? You can still be a tough, old school coach and not be a jerk. And I think that's the part, and I don't know the story. I've only heard the stories. The only time I've ever talked to him, when I've interviewed him for pregame shows and stuff back when I was doing hockey, he was always good. He was always nice to talk to. He wasn't, didn't give the long flowery answers like a lot of coaches do sometimes, but he was there. And I've had no bad experiences with him, so I've got nothing to say about it. Some people have had bad experiences about him, and they seem to be the loudest people out there going into this. So we'll just see how it plays out.
I know who those people are. Well, enough about Babs, and I will say this. I hope he wins, and I hope the Oilers win, because it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fan base and wonderful town. But speaking of hope, and you and I have talked about this over the years, both on the air and off, listening to you doing those Edmonton broadcasts, especially post-game shows, I'm like, oh, poor Morley. Have you aged? Like, it didn't get worse than some of those nights.
We've come to a conclusion this year, Rod. We've come to a conclusion this year. Winning is more fun than losing. I don't know. That's out of the box a little bit, but that's what we've decided.
Well, Listen, correct me if I'm wrong. There are few worse jobs on the globe than doing a post-game show for a crappy football team.
That is true.
I can't think of much worse.
It's been tough over the years, that's for sure. And I honestly, from my heart, I thank the coaches and I thank the players because they don't want to talk about it. We don't want to ask them about it, but it's all our jobs to do it. And they've been good. It's different this year, though. There's an absolutely different tone to the post-game shows, to the pre-game shows, to being on practice right now, watching them practice. Practice is much better. There's more smiles. Everybody's got a little bit of a swagger now around the organization. It's very different around here. And it all comes back to one thing. Win and fixes things, right?
Winning.
Yes. Exactly right. They're 4-1, and they've changed the way they operate from the top on down, and they're getting back to the way they operated during their glory days, the old Eskimo way. And it's you're seeing the results of it, and everybody's so much more happier around this football club right now.
Oh, and that makes the job a lot more fun. But I'll be honest, my affection for Cody Fajardo. We're airing across Nevada, where he is an icon in Reno with the Wolfpack. Cody Fajardo. You got Cody. You got God on your side because of Cody. But I was looking at some numbers today. Your defense is the stingiest in the Canadian Football League. They're getting 0 credit. I don't even know who your defensive coordinator is. Who is it?
J.C. Sherritt is his name. He was a pretty good linebacker in his day, and he's into his second year as a defensive coordinator. And he's got some help from the GM who got him some great players and put them in place. And they kind of put this group together last year. They struggled early last year. They got a lot better as the season went along, and now they're starting at a different level for this season. They started knowing the playbook, knowing each other, and they've been terrific this year. The only thing that's been missing early on has been the sacks and the interceptions, but that's changed. They got 6 sacks in the last 3 games. They got 6 interceptions in the last 2 games, 4 of them last week against Jake Mayer. So they're a good defense. There's no doubt about that. They're very stingy on points, and they're starting to take the football away, and they're playing very complimentary football right now around Edmonton.
Oh, by the way, everybody, the Week 7 opens Friday in that very spot where Morley's sitting at Commonwealth Stadium with the BC Lions there. So it's the return game from Touchdown Kelowna 2 weeks ago. How was that, by the way?
It was great. I really loved it. The Lions did a great job the entire week. I wasn't there for the entire week, but from the stories I've heard, like the Stampeders were there on the first Saturday, and the Elks were there on the second Saturday. And in between, they had all sorts of events. The Lions stayed there and practiced there all week. They had all sorts of events during the week where, they had the team out in the community. They had clinics. They had every coaching schools going on. They set up watch parties for soccer games for the fans who were there. And I think everybody had a great time. It was like a mini Grey Cup week in Kelowna, and it ended with the game against the Elks, and everybody went home happy, except for the Elks, of course, because of the score. But by all reports, it was a great week and a good week for the CFL in Kelowna.
Well, the images on television were stunning. Like I say, TSN, people do bash them from time to time, but one thing they know how to do is live events. And they made that look incredible.
And this scenery was like spectacular. I took a picture during the national anthem, and it's, you got the big Canadian flag on the field, and then in the background you can see the mountains, and it was just it was absolutely stunning picture. It's one of the best looking anthems I've seen in my time doing Canadian Football League games because of the scenery that was around. It's a beautiful area, of course.
Can you text that to me? Would you mind, Morley? Can you remember to do that? I'll give you full credit.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Not at this very moment, of course. But I will say
I can
this.
do it right
now. By the way, John in Winnipeg says, everyone loves a winner, baby. Well, let's look at it across sports. Is that all that there is? Like, there's more to it than just that. I mean, even your place. I won't mind. I'm sorry. Are you going to say something? I was talking to Cam Moon this morning because he's looking forward to Friday's game. Everybody's the voice of the Edmonton Oilers. And he goes, it's going to take a long time till we fill this place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the erosion around here didn't happen overnight. And it's not just, and people are saying, well, it's going to be 30 degrees and sunny on Friday, so we should have 30,000 here. That's not going to happen. That's not how it works, right? You have to, and the Elks have been taking steps over the last 2 or 3 years, especially the last 2 years since Chris Morris came aboard as president. They're trying to build the bridge to the fans again. They're trying to make it a better place to be. And it is a better place to be. The fans are having more fun when they come to games, but they didn't all leave at once. They're not all coming back at once. So it's going to be a slow build. I think if they can just keep increasing their attendance, I don't even know week by week, but season by season with the average, I think they'll be in good shape. But there's got to be a better crowd on Friday. You would think they've done, I'll be honest, the pressure is a little bit on the fans in Edmonton to start showing up now because they've gotten what they've wanted over the last few years. They said fire everybody, and they fired everybody. And then Chris Jones came in and they said, no, fire everybody again. And they fired everybody again. And then they said, okay, start winning. Well, they started winning. So everything is in place now for people to come back to Commonwealth Stadium and watch games and have fun and enjoy their team. Whether they win or lose, the games are going to be hard fought. The games are going to be close. So I hope the fans do start to come back and enjoy themselves because the games so far this year, they've only played 2 home games so far this year, but the games have been terrific. I mean, the first home game, they won in overtime on a play by Cody Fajardo that won in the football game. The last home game last week, they scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. It was a 2-point game going into the fourth quarter, and they won by 27 points. So they've been entertaining. There's no doubt about that. Justin Rankin himself is worth the price of admission. So it's a fun place to be, and I don't think fans, if they come back, I don't think they'll leave. They might leave disappointed because of the score, because you're not going to win every game, but they won't leave disappointed because of the product.
Wonderful discussion. I appreciate it, Morley. And by the way, Justin Rankin, former Vegas Nighthawk, leading the CFL in rushing, leading the CFL in touchdowns.
That's arena football, right?
Yes, it is.
He loves arena football. He talks about it a lot. I did my podcast with him. Antler Up, available wherever you get your podcasts, by the way. I did my podcast with him last year, and I asked him about sports and what he watches, and he said the only thing he watches is CFL football because it's work, and arena football. Like he loves arena football, and he probably misses it at time. Even when he got cut here 2 years ago, he went back and played arena football until they called him back to come back, halfway through the season after the coaching and GM change was made. And he reluctantly came back, and he's been a big success ever since. He is fantastic. I love that guy.
It is. Arena football is great. Rankin's great. Everybody says he's the best player in the league. We're talking about who's the best of the best. I guess we'll find out. Do you think there's a shot that he'll represent the West as the most outstanding player in the league?
Wow, he's got 810 yards in total offense after 5 games. What do you think? I mean, he's played 5 games. He's got 5 100-yard games, 4 of them on the ground, 1 of them in the air. And he had 150 total yards last week. He had 1 week he had 115 yards, and everyone goes, "What's wrong with Justin Rankin?" Right? He had 115 yards, right? So he's right now he's got to be the favorite in the West because he's just playing lights out. He can't be stopped right now. Every time he touches the football, you can't look away because it could end up in the end zone.
Yeah, but the reason I bring that up is there's always some idiot voting like those that didn't put Bill Belichick in the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot, or those that voted for Chris Getzlaff over John Cornish for top Canadian, if we know anybody that might have done something so stupid like that. From the viewers, BW writes in, that was me, by the way, Morley. BW from Edmonton says,
I was going to say, you were doing the voting back then, not me.
Exactly. Could Kelowna support their own CFL team? There must have been a lot of talk of that when you wrote there.
Yeah, there is, and a lot of people who were at the game say, "Hey, let's make Kelowna the next CFL team, the 10th team." But how many people were there from Alberta for those games, right? How many were there to see? Were Stamps fans? How many there were Elks fans and came on a vacation to watch? They did it right and had the 2 Alberta teams play because Alberta's close and everybody in Alberta goes to the Okanagan in the summer, right? So I don't know. I think they need more testing. They Throw me a Montreal Hamilton game in Kelowna and see what the attendance is, and then I'll have a decision and maybe more thoughts on that. But it's not a huge town, and although it's bigger in the summer, right? There's more people there, so I don't know. I think Quebec City is probably the best place to start with expansion.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we do love our CFL football in the West, though. That's a fact. If it's going to go anywhere, It would be Kelowna. We got about 2 minutes. World Cup. I'm guessing in Edmonton, being the multicultural city that it is, that it's pretty big up there. And Alfonso Davies is from there, right? Are they still following big time?
Oh, I think so, for sure. I mean, there's still the watch parties going on at different establishments around the city. Those probably some this afternoon. I know our station is right beside the German Cultural Center. And when Germany was playing, the parking lot was jammed, and they were having all sorts of fun over there. So, yeah, it's still a big deal. I think that the deeper it goes, the more people drop off because their team's out of it. But it's still, I mean, if you want to watch good soccer, it's the best. And I'm not a big soccer guy. I've watched a lot of it, some of it, and I'm still amazed at the skill and the talent and what these guys can do at high speeds with a soccer ball. It's been incredible. I'll try and watch as much as I can of the two semifinals, and I'll be in front of the TV for the final on Sunday.
Okay, officially 90 seconds. John in Edmonton wants your thoughts on the sports radio station shutting down in Canada. 2 of them, not all of them.
Yeah, it's tough. We went through it here in Edmonton, and they rebuilt. The guys kind of the one that the TSN that shut down, they splintered off and they rebuilt. And there's 2 basically here, one online and one over the air. I think it's tough. I mean, there's people who want to talk sports all day long, and I think it's basically the companies that don't know how to sell it and can't sell it and try to sell it too much on the big scale. And a lot of times it just doesn't bring in enough money. It's hard to operate a sports talk station without play-by-play rights of the teams. And the ones that kind of stick around are the ones that have both football and hockey especially. So we'll see. I don't know. It's going to be tough for the sports fan in those markets. I hope somehow in both markets that they kind of rebuild a little bit and somebody comes back to serve the public, because fans want to talk hockey. Fans want to listen, not hockey and sports, right? Fans want to listen to it and hear about everything. So let's hope it's not over completely.
Somebody asked if the teams are going to miss those stations, and I said the teams don't, but they should. I don't think they understand it's been a 24-hour commercial for them, but they saw them as a pain in the ass.
I mean, the station in Vancouver had the Canucks games, and they basically talked about the Canucks from 6 a.m. till the post game every day.
And they see it as not always good. Oh,
so yeah.
We got to run, Morley. Thank you so much. There we go. Great job. Morley Scott, the voice of the Edmonton Elks. We'll be right back on Silver State Sports, WQVZ, and Game Plus streaming.
Ready for a night of rock with the Gene Simmons Band.
You know your man is working hard. He's worth a team.
Saturday, December 5th, Temple Garden Center.
Now.
The Gene Simmons Band performing your favorite classic hits. Tickets on sale now at sasktix.ca. Don't miss the Gene Simmons Band.
Get ready to make unforgettable memories with your little ones at Elmo's Got the Moves, the all-new Sesame Street live show coming to your neighborhood. Friday, December 4th, Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at SaskTix.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events. That's the EMJ difference.
We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world, thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hiring a video company shouldn't be complicated. Click, pay, done. Skycron.com/Regina.
All right, welcome back, everybody, on a Tuesday. Your favorite daytime sports talk show, rocking it on a variety of platforms. Let's do a sports update for the ultimate fan zone of all the other things going on. Soccer's biggest stars have shone brightest at the World Cup, but enough ink has been spilled on Messi, Mbappe, and Bellingham for now, while nobody would be surprised if any of those players decided this week's semifinals, kicking off today with France versus Spain. It's just as likely that less accomplished players will steal the spotlight. We could have had the easy, low-hanging fruit question of will you be watching the World Cup? My guess is it'll be around 50-50. Would be the poll if that was our poll for Country Thunder, but it's not. We have another question today that our business manager, Joe, came up with, which I'll get to in a second, which I think is far more interesting, to be honest. I won't be watching because I got this show. I got baseball to broadcast tonight on Flow College. I won't be watching soccer in the middle of it. But there's more than enough for everybody. Speaking of baseball, Jordan Walker pulled off one of the greatest comebacks in home run derby history Monday night, beating hometown hero Kyle Schwarber in an electric final to become the first Cardinal ever to win the Derby. It happened to be in Philadelphia. Their performance earned him $1 million, more than the 24-year-old breakout star's entire salary this year of $799,400 with the Cardinals. Jordan Walker. It's a hell of a story. We talked about it off the top. But everybody's moved on. As my brother says, we live in a 24-hour world. We forgot yesterday. We're not looking to tomorrow. What's today? Today, the 96th Midsummer Classic goes tonight at Philadelphia's Citizens Bank Park, where the National League will look to win 2 in a row for the first time since 2012. Dylan Cease starting for the American League, the first Blue Jays pitcher to start the Midsummer Classic since Roy Halladay in 2009. And Christopher Sanchez is the first Phillies pitcher to start the All-Star game since Roy Halladay in 2011. How about that? Here's one. A lot of my information I glean from yahoo.com. And they do a really, really good job, or else I wouldn't keep going back there every day. And frankly, because I can go to my other sources for the information that I need, NHL.com, FloridaPanthers.com, CFL.ca, RodPedersen.com. Like, I'm not going to search out the WNBA info, but it's here for, like, I get it here. So they have this little thing in there, like the newspapers used to have. What's on air tonight? And from the WNBA. Can somebody tell me, where do the Mystics play? I feel like I should know. But they're playing at the Toronto Tempo, and I believe that it's in Montreal is where they're playing the game. It's on the NBA channel. Toronto's Marina Mabrey has as many 30-point performances in her last 7 games as she did in her first 7 seasons combined. Her 21.6 points per game ranks 3rd in the league. I mean, I'll be honest with you. This morning I was talking to my advisor in Florida, Lisa, and she's like, when are you going to get that Sophie Cunningham on your show? She's all over my timeline. I'm like, I guess we could try. She's like the hottest, and I don't mean attractively. She is the it girl, it person in sports in North America right now, all because of the pointing, Sophie Cunningham. So it all reminds me of Tony and Cochran, who doesn't watch this show anymore because he got all upset because we were talking about soccer, and he said people were seniors bashing. He took off and never came back. Bye. But it reminds me of bowl season when he said, how are we supposed to watch all 51 of these bowl games? You're not. So watch what you can. Leave the rest. So maybe I'll watch. I don't have the NBA channel. I don't know. Maybe I do. I'm not sure. But what I know is they're selling out arenas, and the WNBA is legit, is kind of the point as I land the plane on that. Has anybody written in and said where the Mystics play? Nobody has written in to say where the Mystics play. 902-518-3033. All of a sudden, bazinga. We're coming up on the final segment of the program. It's overtime, and it's coming up next. So get your last comments in for the day. Oh, thank you. Did you know that, or did you look it up? Producer Corey says Washington. He follows the WNBA. See? People do. We'll be right back on the RP Show.
This is a test pattern. This is what happens when your video company screws up. You don't want your clients to see a screw-up. Hire a company that only does video, so it won't screw up. Then, people who give you money will see less of these and more of you. Skycron.com/live.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Sports fans, daytime sports talk gets a whole lot better weekdays at noon Eastern with The Rod Pedersen Show. Talking sports daily with A-list guests, and the best part is, you can always join the discussion as we're the most interactive talk show on television. Broadcasting from coast to coast from the biggest events like Super Bowl, Stanley Cup Final, Grey Cup, and more, there's nothing like it in the game today. The Rod Pedersen Show, daily at noon Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific on Game Plus Network.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
You have a vision, a big idea, but how do you turn ambition into absolute impact? It starts with connection. Booking top-tier speakers and executing seamless events, that's the EMJ difference. We position your brand where it belongs, Guy, through powerful advertising, strategic media, and promotion that drives results. At EMJ Marketing, we don't just promote, we partner. Your growth, our mission.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon
and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Looking for a new ride without the big city pressure? Come to Western Dodge in Moose Jaw, where you'll find an unbeatable lineup of Ram trucks, Jeep SUVs, Dodge Muscle, and Chrysler family rides. With knowledgeable staff, great prices, and that friendly Moose Jaw touch, you'll drive away with confidence. Western Dodge. Big selection, small town service. Visit us today or browse online at westerndodge.ca. All right, welcome back, everybody. Final segment brought to you by our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary. Running a very special promotion right now. Book your lane time online. Look them up through Google or Maps, Google Maps. Their website's on there, overtimehl.ca. Book your lane time online and receive 2 free tickets to a Calgary Stampeders game of the Canadian Football League. Overtime Hockey Lanes, as we say, or I say, an amusement park for hockey players. 28th Street, Northeast Calgary. Looking forward to seeing Randy and Michelle this summer. Thank you to everybody who has written in with the answer to, I don't know where I've been. I guess doing this show and following the sports that I follow. You all seem to know, led by producer Corey, but also BW from Edmonton, Darren in Utah, all that the Mystics play in Washington. I feel like I might have known that, but with a gun to my head, I would never have guessed that. Certainly not on Family Feud if they said, name women's pro basketball teams that play in nation's capitals. I would have had lockjaw. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I'm surprised there is no women's NFL, WNFL. Well, you know what? It's kind of coming in the form of flag football. And when, Jeff, you're a football-first guy, I'm sure you know there are women's tackle football leagues. There are. But they're not well-attended nor watched. Flag is kind of taking care of that. I was talking to a guy Friday night at Country Thunder. Longtime friend of mine, an old gym buddy of mine, actually. His name's Chad. And the last time I saw him face-to-face was at the USA Flag Football National Championships and the Worlds in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was down there coaching his kid with Team Canada. And I said, how old's your daughter now? He's like, 15. I'm like, shoot, that was 3 summers ago. Would have thought she'd be out of high school now, but he said she's working on a scholarship to a U.S. school for flag football. So it's coming. And to be honest, I mean, I guess that's what I'm into, flag football. I remember when I was doing it just three scant summers ago, everybody laughed. Oh, flag football. Get back to me when it's tackle. Laugh. Nobody's laughing now. Utah Darren says WNBA is on solid ground as long as Caitlin Clark is playing. If she decides to leave, the league goes away. The W goes away. She is awesome. And, I mean, I was sitting around a supper table Sunday night. Full disclosure, I went out for the Bulls, the Bucking Bulls, early afternoon at Craven. Went to my friend's place at Regina Beach. We had a big old family supper. And at that, we were talking about Caitlin Clark as a clip came up on TV. And what did everybody say? Why does everybody beat up on her? Why does she deal with so much hate there? They all know whether they're watching the games or not. And then I went back out to watch Lainey Wilson, which is another thing. I mean, I don't expect that I'm going to be going to a bunch of music festivals. I don't really want to, but if I go to a few. And some people have written me and said, why do you love that so much? I said, well, I love the music. I'm a member of the country club. Always have been, always will be. Country music is what I love. But I also love the talent and the fortunate, lucky ability to be around the stars, meet them, and they're such nice people. It's a little different than the sports world. I mean, I've been thinking for days how different it is. You're going to let me get right in there and take a selfie with you, and you're going to share my posts, and we're going to – what? I'm sure the reason why the big leagues of sports have cut that off from what it used to be is somebody ruined it. And to be honest, I could probably name some of the media that ruined that. But that just doesn't happen anymore, where you get up close and personal with the artist. I was stunned. I remember being at a concert with Brooks and Dunn, which they're playing at a country music festival, Country Thunder Festival this summer, somewhere across America. I'm not sure if it's Wisconsin or Arizona or where, but I remember watching Brooks and Dunn. They're leaning on each other. They're playing kicks. Brooks and Ronnie Dunn. I remember the first song of theirs that came out. I was a DJ when they first started. I remember the CD coming to the station. I'm like, Brooks and Dunn? Who is this, Garth Brooks and Holly Dunn? No, Rod. It's two guys, Brooks and Dunn. Fast forward 25 years later, I see them at a concert, and they're singing like they're back-to-back. You seen how they sing? And as soon as that concert was over, one got on a plane, one got on a bus, went the other way. They're like they hate each other. What? Yeah, they hate each other. Wow. I wouldn't have known that watching them on stage for the last 2 hours. And I admire the professionalism, is my point of all of that. Because that is something that I do see in sports. There are people in sports, believe it or not, that don't get along. But what do they say? Check your ego at the door, play for the guy or gal beside you, who we've been talking about today. That's how some teams win. That's how some teams lose. Can you put your ego aside? It's fascinating to watch. Brent in the Bridge City writes, and he says, I love country music too, Rod. Great show today. Thank you. Thank you. Jeff the Stamps fan says, I took a date to the Brooks and Dunn. She dumped me right after the show. I'm sure it was Brooks and Dunn's fault, not yours, Jeff the Stamps fan. Was she a Ryder fan? BW from Edmonton says, there is a semi-pro women's football league. Found that when trying the Continental Football League. Gotcha. You also, by the way, BW wrote in earlier thanking Morley for the honesty in his answer. He goes, I did not expect to hear that from Morley. Thanks for the honest answer. That was, will the CFL ever expand to Kelowna? Well, Morley's he is a CFL guy, and until the CFL is paying me, I'm not necessarily a CFL guy. I'm a fan. But my point is, when I was fanning the flames of saying there should be an expansion team in Kelowna, I did have somebody write me and say, it's irresponsible and reckless of you to say that because we're never going to Kelowna. And I'm like, stop shaking your finger at me. You don't pay me. It's fun to talk about. But, you know, it was a league forefather that says it's never going to happen, so stop talking about it. But you do you, and I'll do me. But no, I don't think there's any chance that the CFL is ever going to Kelowna. I think that's why Amar Doman, the owner of the BC Lions, supported my comments on that because he knows it's never going to happen. Anyways, thanks to Morley. Thanks to Scruffy. Most of all, thanks to you. We'll see y'all tomorrow here on the RP Show.
That